Hey guys, welcome to this video. I just want to start off by saying this video will not be for everyone. We all have different ways of dealing with our inner darkness and depression and anxiety, and there's a lot of different viewpoints on where it comes from, how to deal with it. There's so much all about it. So I just want to say, if this video doesn't resonate with you, that's perfect. Then it's not for you. That's okay. But this is my journey through darkness, my journey through depression, through anxiety, through intrusive thoughts, my journey with all of these things, current and past. How I cope, how I view these things. And I'm hoping that this will be beneficial for someone. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And to get started, let me breathe and ask how to start this video. Okay, so when we're in the darkness, when we're just right in the center of it, and life feels gloomy and hopeless, and your thoughts are consuming you, perhaps previous events, traumas, memories are consuming you, worries about the future and what's going to happen and whether or not you can trust or believe is consuming you. When these things consume you, right? And you start to believe that they are you. You start to grab. I watched this video yesterday and I thought it was really beautiful. She was talking about how Elizabeth April, she was talking about how you're holding on to the past with one arm and you're holding on to the future with the other, and they're being dragged in both directions. What does that make you think of? Right? Crucifixion. The very famous picture of Jesus on the cross being crucified. When you have one fist grabbing tightly to the past and one fist grabbing tightly to the future, you're literally crucifying yourself. You are crucifying yourself. Okay? You're trapping yourself in the darkness and you're believing it to be truth. All of these things are coming up as your greatest teachers. They're coming up because they are within you. They're coming up because you believe them to be true. That's why you are stuck on the cross, because you're believing everything that is coming up to be confirmation. Hello. You're believing everything that's coming up to be the truth. And you're crucifying yourself. But when you can start to shift your perspective that what you are going through right now is one of your greatest teachers. Your depression, your anxiety, these things are your greatest teachers in this lifetime. And they are teaching you how to release. They're teaching you how to surrender. They're teaching you how to see clearly through the darkness. Do you know what a superpower it is to be able to see through the darkness? To be surrounded by nothing but illusions, and to be able to point them out and be like, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know what a true beacon of light you become when you're able to see through the dark? When you learn how to see with your heart, right? Your heart is like a vortex. Your heart is a portal to the other side of awareness. And when we're on the other side of awareness, we're not seeing with these eyes. I mean, you use your third eye, yes, but more importantly, when you can connect your third eye to your heart and also now use your heart to see, now you're seeing the other side, but from unconditional love, from God's view. And whenever you're in, you don't learn how to do this when everything is peachy and wonderful and the birds are chirping and the people are skipping down the street singing. That's not when you have to rely on your inner vision. That's not when you have to learn how to see in the dark. You learn how to see in the dark when you're in the dark. When you're in the dark, this is your greatest opportunity to your superpowers. What are your superpowers, right? And so when these thoughts come up, when these memories come up from the past and fears about the future come up, what you want to do is you want to observe them from a neutral space and feel the pain. Feel the pain from that space in your heart that understands it's not the truth. From that space inside that understands that these are illusions, that you are right smack dab in the center of darkness right now, and your only job is to feel and call out the illusions with your inner vision. If something doesn't feel loving, if something doesn't feel like God, like unconditional love, it's not real. And that's how you begin to start. That's how you begin seeing through the dark. Is when you can tap into your heart space and sit with everything that is coming up and see if you can match it to the space of your heart. If you cannot match the memory or the fear to the vibration of unconditional love from your heart, it's not real. It's just not real. That doesn't mean that the pain you're feeling isn't real. Feel the pain. Don't avoid the pain. It's almost like a bear in the woods, okay? Only in this scenario, you're the bear. And the fear and the anxiety and the depression is the human. Okay? You're the bear. Anxiety is the depression. So what are we taught to do when a bear comes after us? Is to get big. So get up on something tall, spread your arms, scream really loud, creating an illusion that the human could likely win in a fight. You want to scare the bear off and make it seem like you're bigger than it and that it can't take you in a fight. But that's an illusion. And if the bear saw straight through that illusion to the point of like, oh, like they're just pretending to be big. They're pretending to be scary. They're pretending to be something that they're not. They're pretending to be bigger than they are. I'm just going to walk straight up to that human and, I don't know, fight it because I'm going to win. If the bear understood that, this trick wouldn't work. That's like what our depression and anxiety does. It knows that it's not real. These energies that come to you from a dark place know that they are temporary, know that they are illusions, and know that they need to feed off of your energy in order to stick around. So they get big and they get loud and they get scary, trying to induce fear in you, trying to get you to believe that they are real, because then you're feeding them your energy. By being afraid of it, you're feeding it your energy. You're keeping it around longer. And that's why we have that constant underlying sense of anxiety. That's why we get paralyzed and can't get off the couch for months on end. Because we are believing that something is real. I don't care what it is. There is a belief system that you currently hold. There's a thought that keeps coming up. that you are believing to be true. There's a memory from your past that you're playing over and over and over again, believing that it's going to repeat in your future, or believing because this happened, you're not worthy, or there is something you're holding on to. There is an illusion that you're feeding by believing it. And so therefore it's sticking around longer and creating this underlying sense of doom in your life. But all it is someone pretending to be big and scary when they're not. You are the bear. You could walk up to that person and kill it because you are bigger than it. You're just believing the illusion when it puts its arms up and pretends to be big and scary. So all you have to do is face your fear, face your limiting belief, face whatever it is head on, and sit with it from your heart space. Come down. So what we tend to do is we get up in our heads with this sort of thing, and we're keeping our energy up here. We're thinking about it. We're trying to think our way through it, figure it out, make logical sense of it, whatever it is. We're trying to fix the problem from our head. What if I told you you don't have to fix anything? You don't have to fix the problem because it's not real. It's not a real problem. You don't have anything to fix. There's nothing wrong with you. All you have to do is come drop down out of your head and into your heart space, into your body, and sit with the pain. Embodying both energies at once. The energy of the pain, sit with it. The whatever it is, a scared child, a broken adult, I don't know. What is the energy that you're afraid of to feel in your body? Sit with it from that perspective, and then also become the presence of the nurturing mother, like the divine feminine, the divine nurturing feminine aspect of God that knows that this is not real, that this is not true, but is going to sit with you and comfort you anyways because you are in pain. And when somebody is in pain, you don't just say, that's not real, get over it. That is not the way to go about it. You sit with the internal knowing that it's not real, that it's all an illusion, but at the same time, you're actively comforting this person as if it is real, as if this pain is excruciating, as if this person is crucified on the cross. You comfort this person as if they are going through a crucifixion with the divine internal knowing that it's not true and it's not real and that it's an illusion. It's an illusion trying to scare you so that you feed that energy and keep it alive. So once you can embody both of these energies at the same time, once you can let yourself be that scared, sad, bullied child, whatever it is, at the same time as you are embodying the energy of the nurturing, loving, divine mother, divine feminine, and embody both at the same time, you will get through this much quicker because you're alchemizing the darkness by allowing yourself to feel it while simultaneously having the knowing and understanding that it's all an illusion and that you could walk straight through it like fog, like smoke at any moment and step up to a higher path. But we get so scared that we paralyze ourselves. We allow the darkness to paralyze us because we believe what it's telling us. We believe we have something to be afraid of. And so we sit in this paralyzed state with it for however long. But as you slowly begin to come out of this state of depression, you will understand what do I want to say? You will begin to understand that life is meant to be full of ease, full of grace, full of flow. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be something that you're not. All you have to do is be yourself, and yourself is not perfect because you're in a human body. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being in a human body. I think that even if we don't know it, our entire society is so deeply ingrained into this religious doctrine that we are born in sin because we are born from an act of sin, which is, I guess, sex. And so you're just born sinful because you're coming from sin or whatever. Even if you were never religious, this paradigm is so deeply ingrained into our society that you didn't have to go to church to believe this. You didn't have to go to church to believe that you're unworthy and that you're broken and that you're sinful and that you're wrong and that you're bad. It's so infiltrated. Our society is so infiltrated by the Roman Catholic Church when it did its thing back in the day that it reaches you even if you were never in a religion. It touches people who don't even believe in God. That's how deeply ingrained into our society it has become. If you believe that you are dirty, bad, wrong, sinful, ugly, broken, you're feeding into this religious doctrine that we are born in sin. There's nothing wrong with you. All of the deep, dark, scary thoughts and parts of yourself that you don't want to show to the world, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You're human. You're human. And I can guarantee you, I'm trying to think of how to share this. You know, for so long, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that just by the way I express myself, there was something bad about it. And so I hid myself and I cloaked myself. And I covered up the parts of myself that wanted to express, that wanted to be seen by the world. And I covered those parts up. And I told myself that life would be better this way. I told myself that these parts of myself weren't meant to be seen, that they are meant to be kept in the dark. And they were unworthy of the light. And for so long, because I lived in this belief system, I still acted from this place of darkness. I was just in denial about it. I say darkness, quote unquote, because I kept it in the depth of my being, because I kept it in the background, in the shadow. It festered and became a sort of darkness because I wasn't seeing myself clearly. And so I was allowing these dark parts of myself, these shadowy aspects of myself to manifest physically without my control, without my knowing. I shouldn't say control, but because I didn't want to look at these parts of myself because I was taught they were bad and shameful or whatever by society, by school, by upbringings, who even knows, okay? Our whole society is just so backwards. It could have came from anywhere. But, so I kept these aspects of myself in like a dark closet and locked the door. And do you know what happens when you keep a bad child in a dark closet and lock the door? It's gonna think it's unworthy. It's gonna be sad But eventually it's going to turn into anger. It's going to turn into acting out. And so I was acting out in all of these terrible ways. I was hurting people that I loved. I was hurting myself. I was being rude and just acting in ways that don't align to my truth. I was acting in ways to where I was betraying myself. I was betraying myself, and I was betraying my truth, and I was betraying people around me, because it was a part of myself that I refused to acknowledge. I refused to look at it. And so it was acting out, trying to get my attention, but also because it knew I wasn't going to pay attention to it or discipline it or whatever, however you want to look at it. So it knew it could do whatever it wanted and get away with it because I wasn't going to look at it, because I was too afraid to look at it. And so my life started to go down. I hit rock bottom so many times throughout my life that it's insane. And do you want to know what made me stop hitting rock bottom? What forced me into alignment with my truth, into alignment with my heart, to become the person that deep down I knew that I was? And I kept hurting people and hurting myself, and I was so confused and overwhelmed and scared and sad. And so I would drink all the time. I started doing drugs. I started partying. I started numbing all the time because life became painful. It became painful the way that I was choosing to live in the world. And I was too scared to address the parts of myself that I kept in the dingy, dark, deep closet of my consciousness. It was too scary and too hard to address those parts of myself. That's what I told myself anyways. And so I just kept going down. And then I was like, damn, I didn't know that the pit could get even deeper than this, but I guess it's just going to keep getting further down into the darkness. And so I just kept finding a new bottom because I was acting in ways to numb myself. And when I was numbing myself, I had no way of gauging whether or not I was in alignment with my truth, whether I was in alignment with the core of my being, because I was constantly numb. I had no internal guidance system. I was shutting it off. And when everything is shut off, you act in ways that are out of character. You act in ways that do not align to your truth, therefore giving you more reasons to stay numb, giving you more reasons to stay in the dark, giving you more reasons to not face yourself, because now the list is just getting longer of all the shit you have to look at that you've been doing. So I'm telling you right now, from a place of deep love and understanding, that you need to look at yourself. All of the scary shit you've been keeping locked away in the basement of your consciousness, you need to look at it. All you have to do is love it. That is all that's required of you, is to face it and to feel the pain that comes with it. And then rather than choosing to further neglect and shame and ridicule yourself, you choose to love yourself. That is all that is required of you, is to face it all, to look at all of the scariest, darkest, deepest parts of yourself and to love it. That's it. That's all you have to do, is to face it all and to love it unconditionally, because that's what God would do. And if God would love all the darkest parts of yourself unconditionally, who are you to say that you don't deserve it? Who are you to say that these acts are unredeemable? Who are you to say that you deserve whatever it is you think you deserve because of all the shitty things that you've done? If God can't even see the shitty stuff that you've done. God is so far removed from this world, from the world of the ego, the world that the ego created. God is so far removed from it that he can't even see the list that you've racked up of all the shitty things that you can do. And you're keeping the list alive and adding more shit to the list by refusing to face it and alchemize it by loving it. You're keeping it all alive by not looking at it. God can't even see the list. Because, okay, here's my understanding. Take it or leave it, right? We are essentially like little sparks of God consciousness that fell asleep while still inside of God. We fell asleep and now we're dreaming, and God is standing right there with us as we're sleeping, having a nightmare, just looking at us, trying to like shake us gently awake, like, hello, you're just having a nightmare. But just like if someone was sleeping right next to you in the bed, you don't know what they're dreaming about. It's not real, so it doesn't really matter what they're dreaming about anyways, because you know the truth that they're safe in their bed and they're just having a nightmare. That is God. That is the energy of God. He's next to you while you're in your bed in heaven having a nightmare, and he's gently shaking you, trying to wake you up, but you refuse to wake up because you're like, no, but look at all of this shit I've done. Like, I want to stay here longer because I don't deserve to go back home to God. Look at all of the shit I've done to what's the word I'm looking for? I have shamed God. I have shamed God with all of the things I've done. I can't wake up and go back home to heaven. I don't deserve it. I don't belong there. But God is just sitting there watching you have this nightmare, being like, wake up. He doesn't even know what you're dreaming about. It's not even real to God. God is in heaven. God exists in this realm of consciousness that is inconceivable to our human minds because we still believe that we're in the scary dream. We can't conceive of the world outside of like when you're dreaming, you don't realize that it's a dream until you wake up. You think that you are what's happening to you in the dream. You're scared, you're sweating, something's chasing you, you're running, you can't run fast, whatever it is, you believe it to be the truth. Until you wake up and realize that it's not real. What happened in the dream wasn't actually you. Like if you have a dream that like a weird sex dream, you don't wake up and then maybe you feel like a little weird for a second, but you don't carry it with you like, oh my God, like, oh, I can't believe I did that, because you know that it was just a dream. It wasn't you. Okay? I hope this is making sense. Because you are not the scary dream that you're having. Yes, you have to face it. In order to become lucid in a dream, you have to be embodied in the dream. You can't be lucid in a dream from outside the dream. You have to be in the dream. And then you can become lucid to the dream. And once you become lucid to the dream, you realize that you have nothing to fear. Everything you thought you were scared of isn't real. And then you slowly begin to wake up. When you become lucid in the dream, you're not fully awake yet. You're still in the dream. You're just now aware that you're in the dream. And you don't really know where you're going to go once you open your eyes, but you know that there's somewhere better. You know that there's somewhere that you're going to go once you fully wake up. You know that there's somewhere else, that this dream isn't the end all be all. You know that there's something else that's going to happen once you wake up all the way. But right now you're just lucid. And you know that something's on the other side, like watching you, but you don't know what it is. It's God. And he's saying, hello, you're home. You're home with me. Wake up. I love you. I'm so sorry that you're having a scary dream. Let me comfort you. Let me comfort you when you wake up, because I know that this was scary. God's waiting with open arms to comfort you, because he knows that you're just having a scary dream, and he loves you so much. But in order to get to reach God, he's already there. You're the one keeping yourself away from God in this illusion nightmare that you've created. where to go from this? Yeah. God loves you. He doesn't even know what you're dreaming about, so how can he say that you're bad for it? Once you wake up, you'll understand that none of it is real. God's love is real, and he's waiting for you to realize that this is just a nightmare that you're having. Don't bypass it and shove your emotions down and da-da-da. No, you have to feel it. You created this dream. This is your dream. You did this. You created it. You are so powerful that you created this nightmare that you're in. And if you deny your creation, if you deny that you created this nightmare, then you'll never be able to create anything else, because you're denying the fact that you are a powerful creator being. And the longer that you deny that you're a powerful creator being, the longer you're going to keep playing the victim role in a nightmare that you created. You created the nightmare. You created this victim role for yourself, and now you're playing that character as if it's all real and all true, even though it's a play that you put on for yourself. And if you continue to act as if you are a victim, you will continue to be a victim. Things will continue to happen to you, and your life will continue to feel like a nightmare. But once you wake up and you realize, like, oh shit, like, damn, let me face my creation. Let me not deny my creation. Let me face my creation head first and look at how powerful I even am, that I could create something like this, so that I could flip it and create something beautiful. Co-create, wake up from the dream and co-create reality with God. When you're creating a nightmare, you're not co-creating with God, you're creating from your ego. So do you want to continue to create from your ego? Or do you want to wake up to the fact that God doesn't even know what you're dreaming about, because he's on the outside of your dream looking at you sweating and freaking out in bed in heaven? He doesn't know what you've done, because it doesn't matter. It's not real. It's just a dream. So you're going to wake up to the fact that you're actually home with God, and so then you can open your eyes and be like, oh my gosh, I just had the worst nightmare. Then you guys can laugh about it, alchemize it, laugh about it, and then now you're with God, and you and God can create something beautiful together. But you'll never get to the point of co-creation with God until you wake up to the fact that you've been co-creating with the ego. You're not a victim. You have been co-creating with your ego. And now you must wake up to your creation and wake up to the choices that you've been making and wake up to the fact that you've been co-creating with your ego. And that can be scary and painful, because then you start to go down a spiral of like, oh my God, like I chose the ego over God. So I really am bad. There really is something wrong with me. I really am sinful and shameful and whatever else you want to believe about yourself, because you have been co-creating with your ego. And really it's just a mistake. You're like, oh, that's kind of silly that I've been doing this. Let me just 180 myself and start co-creating with God instead. You can do that. You don't have to stay over here and stay the victim and keep going down the pit. But you do have to face all of your creations. You have to face all of your decisions, all of your thoughts, all of your beliefs, so that you can realize that you hold the power. You created everything, every thought, every belief, every occurrence, everything in your nightmare has been created with you and the ego. You have been co-creating with the ego. You must wake up to that fact before you can begin co-creating with God. Okay? This was a long video, and it kind of went off on a tangent there. But I hope that this was helpful. It felt powerful for me. And yeah, you got this. There's nothing to be afraid of. Once you realize that it's all just a big scary illusion, pretending like it can eat you, and you can laugh at it and be like, oh, None of it's real. Okay, let me face this. Let me feel it. You have to feel it. But now that I know it's not real, I can feel it fearlessly. I can feel it bravely and step through it as if it is a portal to take me one step closer home to God. All of your fears and depressions and anxieties are portals for you to wake up to the fact that it's not real, and then the only way you step through the portal is by feeling it. Once you feel it, you walk through the portal to the other side, and then you start co-creating with God. But if you face it, this is you, this is the pain. If you look at it and you're scared of it and you walk away and run the other way, you're walking further away from God. If you walk up to it and then you look at it and you're like, oh, you're not real, and you walk through it or step over it by feeling it with the understanding it's not real, then you're taking both feet and planting them on the other side, which is in God. But you can't get to God unless you feel, until you walk over the illusion that you are believing to be true. Feeling is a portal. Okay, I'm gonna go. I love you. I know that it's painful. I'm not denying your pain. But your pain is a portal to God. Your pain is a portal to God. So everything that's popping up, giving you the opportunity to feel pain, is gifting you an opportunity to get closer to God. I love you. I'm gonna go now. I could keep talking about this.